Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Kovalchik Convocation Activity Center. Got it right. Better known as the KCAC here in Indiana, Pennsylvania. I am your host for tonight, Nathan Kurtz. You can just call me Nate. Alongside me tonight are my good friends, Michael J.J. Robinson and Andrew White. Had to be careful there for a second. Almost called you Andrew Havens. It's another one of our members with the Times. How you guys doing tonight?
Oh, we're doing good. Excited for this matchup between two very talented PSAC teams. And, following the women's game, I'm just looking for a better outcome here in this game number 2.
As am I. I'm definitely excited to be on the headset. First time for basketball this season, so that's exciting, especially for a nice little rivalry game we got here with the Cal and IUP today.
Yeah, and it's great to see here. These are two very good teams. California standing at number 1 in the PSAC for the majority of this season so far, but due to having that bye week, Gannon was just able to get ahead of them. Now they're a game ahead. That means California is now sitting at number 2 within the PSAC West standings, and IUP now sitting at 3rd. Bit of a rough start for the season for them.
Yeah, I'm sure California is looking ahead. I mean, you never want to look past any opponents, but they travel to Gannon this upcoming Saturday, and Gannon the only team above them in the West Division, so I'm sure that they're looking ahead to that game, and they want to take care of business tonight first, obviously. And I think, as long as they play their kind of game, they're going to put themselves in good position.
And I know, looking back, last Saturday, both these teams traveled, the men's and the women's, that being, traveled up to Mercyhurst, up in Erie, just to give the Lakers a bit of a test. Both teams coming out with a win. The women's winning theirs in OT 66-63, and this men's team here winning 77-60 against a previously very solid Lakers team. And, I know for a fact that I have had this matchup marked on my calendar for a while. Coach Sankum and Coach, oh my God, I am blanking. I'm blanking. I've been saying his name all week. And I get some help. Coach Lombardi. I wanted to say it, but I didn't want to get it wrong. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen, everybody at home. But for our starting lineups tonight, we're going to send this back over to my two very good friends. Andrew, who are we looking at for the Vulcans?
So for the Vulcans, we got number 0, Jermaine Hall, so senior. Number 2, Bryson Lucas. Number 3, Zion Collins. Number 5, KJ McClurg. And number 15, DJ Slaughter.
And on the other side for IUP, we got number 0, Jalen Stewart. Number 1, Gavin Clark. Number 2, KJ Rhodes. Number 4/14, Bryson Radford. And number 11, Ethan Porterfield.
And that's the name to look at. Ethan Porterfield getting the Defensive Athlete of the Week for the PSAC West. And, who better else to match up against number 5, KJ McClurg, as we just mentioned in the starting lineup. No surprise there. One of the best players in all of Division II basketball, being named the Athlete of the Week for the Vulcans this week for the West.
Yeah, it's a battle of the Titans tonight. Ethan Porterfield, the senior at IUP, who's feel like he's been here for a decade. Dude has 1,645 career points, ranking 6th all-time for the Crimson Hawks. And then, like you said, KJ McClurg averaging close to 23 a game. That's just unheard of in Division II. So it's going to be exciting, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
And historically, this IUP team been a very, very solid program led by Coach Lombardi. And it's a tough thing to do to climb up that high on not only the games played list, but the points list as well. So credit goes to where it's due. Ethan Porterfield's been such a huge part of this team. But another huge part of this team so far has been Bryson Radford, averaging 14 points per game this year, and now setting the school record for 9 3-point field goals in their last game against Slippery Rock University on Saturday.
Yeah, Radford's definitely the go-to shooter on this team. He's made 38 shots this year, and 35 of them have been from beyond the arc. So he's dangerous from out there. Last game, 27 points on 9 threes. That's all he did, and that's all he had to do. So California's got to get their hand in his face tonight.
And right now, just running through the starting lineups here for everybody here at the KCAC. Quite electric here. I know normally here on CUTV we're used to the very large convocation center, and it's hard to fill that arena. It's almost 7,000 to 9,000 seats, I believe, but here at the KCAC it's much more tight-knit, and definitely see y'all from the women's game. The energy just bounces off the walls.
Most definitely. The environment in here, just mainly because of the smaller arena, does feel a lot more exciting compared to the convocation center in California. makes for some exciting chants in the crowd and just a vibe in general.
Yeah, it's a huge game between these two teams, and you know the fans were, just like Nate said, kind of circling this game on their calendar, and they showed out tonight. There's plenty of people here, and I'm sure they're going to be loud and proud throughout this game.
And again, these two teams just gonna go at it all night long. It's gonna be very tough to watch. If you're a fan of the Crimson Hawks or you're a fan of the Vulcans, I think you're gonna look at a very high-octane offensive game. But you know, I'm not gonna stand by that prediction, because usually when I make these predictions, it's the exact complete opposite of what I say.
Well,
So I would not hold me to that one.
Well, if that's the case, I'm going to go against you and say I expect to see a lot of high-powered offense and a lot of explosive plays, just like splashy type of stuff, you know?
Michael, that's what I said.
You said the opposite.
No, I said normally I get the opposite end of the draw, but players now taking the court here. So we're getting ready for tip-off. That looks like it's going to be Bryson Lucas and Porterfield taking it. They're two very tough opponents. Bryson Lucas had a bit of foul trouble going into that start of the year, and I know we didn't get to see him at all last year. But as the ball drops here, as we get underway at the KCAC, exciting matchup here as the ball's going to go to the top of the point. Believe that going up to Jalen Stewart. He's going to start this ball game off. Gets him moving from Radford, I believe, over to the wing. On the close side. It's Clark with the shot. Easy 2 points to get us started off.
Garvin Clark really does a lot for this team, 17 a game, and you know he's just been one of the better players on this squad in a lack of Dallas Dillard going out with injury, so it'll be interesting.
Naturally, Jermaine Hall Jr. is going to take an early drive but misses the shot down below. It's now going to be Stewart back down below the net, trying to break his man, and Slaughter goes for the turnaround, not going to get it, bounces off the rim. Lucas grabbing the rebound, going over to Slaughter, now down to Collins on the wing, going to go for the drive. Misses it, going to go out of the rim. Ball now in the hands of Clark, who's going to stop it around midcourt and hand it back to Porterfield. Stewart with the ball now. Stewart at the free throw line, going to put it up to Radford. Radford over to Porterfield on the wing. Going to hand that one over to Clark. Clark sizing it up for the three. He's going to hit the back of the net as Collins going to recover it. A little dangerous there.
As Zion Collins loves to get a little bit flashy, and especially even with rebounds.
A nice three from DJ Slaughter. Normally I'm the one doing the color commentary here, so normally I'm the one who's able to compliment DJ Slaughter. He's such a quality player, and taking those shots never takes really the dangerous one, just takes the easy points on the bucket. So we're now going to have Clark at the top of the key, moving it down to the far side wing. Passes it over the timeline. Clark over to the corner. A little bit of a hesitation. Mid-range jumper, not going to make it. Lucas with the rebound. So we're going to get a foul on, I believe, that is going to be KJ Rhodes. Looks like the referees didn't like that bit of a push at the end of the play.
So far, California seems a little slow, of course, missing the first shot, but making another one not too long after that. And then it's not a lot happening so far, figuring out each other's defense and offensive schemes.
Yeah, and Coach Lombardi already getting a bit vocal. That's a matchup I'm excited for. So you got two very vocal coaches here. Tonight is KJ McClurg going to get the ball over to Lucas, trapped in the corner with the double team. McClurg over, passing it along the key. Slaughter from the corner, three-point, not going to make it. Air ball down to the bottom of the net. So we're not going to have a fast break here. I believe that was Clark, as he's going to draw out the foul from, I believe that was Jermaine Hall, number 0 on the side of the Vulcans.
Clark, a career-high 30 points versus Edinboro on the 20th, so just about over a week ago now, and he's averaging 24 games over the last 4, so you got to think he's going to stay aggressive like he has been early on.
And that foul going to go up against Zion Collins, number 3 for the Vulcans, as Clark's going to make his first free throw. Clark going to get the second one to go. 4-3 IUP in the lead now. One foul apiece for each of these teams. Slaughter's going to take the ball up the court. Over to McClurg, going to dangerously lose it there. So it's going to get passed around. Hall for the corner 3. Again, just a little too much power on that one. Going to bounce off the rim.
That's the shot that Jermaine Hall's looking for every time. So, I mean, even though he misses there, you know he's going to continue to shoot the ball like that.
And I mean, I think that's a hallmark of Hall's game. He's such a confident player, and when he gets that heat going, he's going to take these shots knowing that he can make them. As Hall now at the top of the key, over to McClurg, setting the screen too. KJ around the free throw line, going to go in for the drive. Easy layup for KJ.
KJ's just become so good at going to the basket, and right there he's showing off his moves, and a lot of the time he can create the contact too, and he kind of just rode the contact to the basket there.
And as the vice president of the KJ McClurg fan club, I could not sing his praises any higher. Such a good and miraculous player, called the Magic Man here by us for a reason. I believe that's going to be Clark going to take the ball under the net, as now Stewart's going to go in for the drive. Well, an electric block by Jermaine Hall Jr. What an electric play to get us started off.
Jermaine Hall starting wanting to heat up a little bit this time on the defensive side of stuff. We usually see him going crazy on offense, but there, nice block by Jermaine Hall Jr.
And that's not really surprising from him. Solid defensive player as well, as good as his offensive game is. As just going to get a chucking shot there from Rhodes as the shot clock was expiring.
Back to that block by Hall. I mean, this team, I would say their strongest asset is just how athletic they all are, and they can make plays all over the court, and that right there was a highlight.
Yeah, and I've been saying it all season. Coach Sankum prefers this athletic scheme from his players, and it definitely came out in advantage as McClurg now going to drive in, bounce pass down to Slaughter in the corner. Slaughter trying to size up Porterfield. Not going to get it. So we're going to get a travel call against DJ Slaughter.
Yeah, you can already see Donald Whitehead making his way to the substitution table. I'm sure he's going to be checking in for Slaughter there.
And it's nice to see Donald Whitehead Jr. back on the court. I know he's a fan favorite here for the Vulcans. Unfortunately, he's just been missing a few games due to injury this year, but when he's on the court, very solid player, 10 points per game, and surprisingly, 2 rebounds a game as well. That coming from a 5'10 player. So we're now going to see a 3-point shot from Stewart in the corner. Not going to make it. Bounces off the rim. Hall going to take that rebound over the timeline. Over to Whitehead. Whitehead over to Collins. Collins, hesitation. Down, going to take the fadeaway shot. Not going to make it. Hits it off the rim for Porterfield.
You got to imagine we're going to see more of that from Zion. Coming off his season high 26 at Mercyhurst on Saturday, he's going to want to get going early.
So we're going to see a 3-pointer from Rhodes. Looks like a little too much power there. As IUP's going to get this rebound. Porterfield for 3. Going to rim it as well, but the rebound can't come down, and that's going to be a foul. I believe that one is going to be on Gavin Clark against Donald Whitehead Jr. So we're going to get sent here to a timeout, our first one here of the night. And what a start this game has already been. Cal leading 5 points to 4 right now. Only a 1-point differential, but it seems like we've seen a lot more than that.
Definitely a lot of course, back and forth. That score is only 5-4. But there's been a little bit of wanting some contact. California, of course, not afraid to accept some contact from IUP, as Zion Collins down on the court was just asking for contact to try and make that shot. Unfortunately, it was ultimately missed.
And I think there's no player better than KJ McClurg at drawing contact. Now, around 2 weeks ago, playing Slippery Rock, setting the school record for free throws made in a game. I believe set that mark as 26, if I remember correctly. It's an electric game there. Unfortunate loss that has led to this 15-2 season. A very different result from what we saw from last year.
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams have gotten off to really good starts this season, and California's been on somewhat of a roll outside of their slip at Slippery Rock. And talking to Jermaine Hall this past week, he said that they're really using that as motivation, and they know that they're potential-wise, they really have no ceiling as a team. So they're going to continue to work hard, and it's showing off in the record-wise.
Speaking of, we can give a slight little mention here. Check out caltimes.org and check out the articles from these Vulcans from their last game at home against the University of Pitt Johnstown Mountain Cats. Good articles all around, and I think some good pictures too. Don't know who provided those to the Times, but I bet he's really good.
Yeah, big shout out to Nate there, our man. Can't ask for anybody better behind the camera when you're looking for something like that. So big shout out to Nate.
I give myself a little bit of an egotistical brag here. Gotta take the credit sometimes. We're gonna get back underway. As Zion Collins at the free throw line, driving down, not finding anything. Gonna take the mid-range shot. Nothing falling here for California, and a hot minute is that's gonna be a foul. I believe that one is gonna end up getting called on Zion Collins. Yeah, that one's going to go against Collins. So the ball is going to go here. Antoine Arnett now going to come into the table. I believe he's going to check in here for Collins as he's in a bit of a foul trouble early on.
Yeah, picking up 2 fouls in the first 5 minutes is not ideal. And, I mean, right there, he kind of just let the momentum of his body carry him into the other player. And, you know, it leads to a foul, even if it's unfortunate.
And that's going to be Sarp Fertram, freshman out of Turkey, now coming into the game. Some more international players. You know, that's something I've noticed a lot within the PSAC is how many international players this Division II conference has within its sports. It's very impressive for a Division II athletics conference. So that's now going to be Clark on the wing, giving it down to Porterfield. Looks like he's trying to find the outlet pass, not finding anything. It's going to be Fertram taking the 3, not going to find it. But IUP getting the rebound back. That is Clark now on the wing. Clark taking the 3. Going to miss that one. Jermaine Hall tries to bounce it off the foot, and he's going to. Jermaine Hall Jr. going to bounce that off the foot of Fertram, excuse me. That's going to be Cal ball.
Smart play there. Saw it going out of bounds. Said, might as well go out of bounds off of somebody else.
And early on into this game, and already messing up these names already, but stay with me, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot of action here still going on at the KCAC as Donald Whitehead Jr. now sizing defense up. He's going to put that down to Lucas, over to Arnett. Arnett not finding anything, kicking it out to Hall for the 3-pointer. Going to rim that one off, and Arnett gets his hand on the ball, but not able to grab the rebound. As a smell of popcorn fills the arena, that one's going to go over to the hands of Jalen Stewart. Going to pass that one back over to Porterfield, now over to Clark. Over to Furton. Furton back over to Clark. That's going to be Stewart for the 3-pointer. Not going to get it. By Clark now. Clark handing it back over to Stewart, calling for the screen. Going to get it. Going to take the 3-pointer. He's going to make it. Nice deep 3 there on the side of IUP from Jalen Stewart.
Just another great basket here early on, and it's going to be about trading back and forth and who can go on the better run between these two teams, and that's going to decide it.
Hall in the corner, trapped. Going to give it over to KJ. Nice move to secure the ball, but what a block from Clark. And with the handles, too, going for the drive. Going to pass that over to Waldo. Not going to get the shot. Arnett going to get the rebound over to Whitehead, who's now going to take this ball, slow it down now at the arc over to Lucas. Fakes the 3-pointer. Going to take it now. Going to bounce that off the top of the rim. California just not taking or not making any of these shots so far.
Yeah, it kind of seems like early on they're just settling. Got to work the shot clock and kind of look for the most efficient look. So far they haven't really been doing too much of that.
Stewart in the ball, or with the ball in the corner, going to take that one up to the top of the court. Screen with by Porterfield. Going to take the 3-pointer again. Not going to find it as Lucas grabs the rebound over to Whitehead. He's now going to take this ball up court. Going to pass it over to Hall, who's going to throw this one down to Lucas. Cross-court pass to Hall, who's going to attempt the 3-pointer. Not going to make that. It's going to be rebounded by IUP as Jalen Stewart going to take this ball up.
Something I definitely noticed so far throughout this game is IUP really seems to be picking on the size difference compared to Donald Whitehead Jr., just as you've seen right there. Multiple shots being taken on him just because of the height difference.
Yeah, and I can't say that's too shocking. Donald Whitehead Jr., as good as he is, 5'10", unusual to see for this type of level of basketball. But Jalen Stewart, no knock to himself, transferred from Seton Hill, had a season high of 25 points this year. Stewart's going to grab the ball, throw it over to Clark, almost loses it. Coach Sankum not happy with the referee, thought his foot was over the line. Clark now at the top of the key, going to hand it over to Waldo. Back up to Stewart at the top of the key. Porterfield with the screen, going to take the shot, not going to make it. Few missed shots here early on within this game.
Yeah, they're looking like they're confident in their jump shots, and you know, not everything's going to find the bottom, but as long as both teams kind of just keep playing their game, we're going to see a high-scoring one no matter what, even with the slow start.
And what I've noticed so far, again, like JJ said, IUP picking on the size is Antoine Arnett going to take the deep mid-range jumper. Unusual from him, normally not taking that shot. The 6'6" redshirted freshman makes it.
Yeah, Arnett's a great part of this offense. He's kind of snuck in as like the 7th, 8th guy. He's shooting 67% on the year, 46 for 69 coming into the game. So, I mean, that just proves how efficient he can be out there.
Stewart with the ball now, up to Waldo. Looking for the man, going to give it back to Stewart. No, last year, definitely Stewart impressed us coming over and playing at the Convo Center, as they're not going to get that offensive line. This ball is going to be brought up by Hall on the wing now. Going to try and pass that down to Whitehead. Not going to get it. Stewart now on the fast break. Going to try some fancy moves. But Lucas intelligently just going to try and slap that ball out of his hands to stop it. And that's going to send us to another timeout. As I think that's going to be KJ Rhodes, and I believe that's going to be Bryce Radford who's going to head into this game after this timeout.
And that's just something Bryson Lucas does so well. He might not show up in the box score as often as you would think, but when he's out there, he just makes impacts in many different ways, whether it be blocks, steals, rebounds, outlet passes. When he's on the floor, he makes a huge difference for this Vulcans team, and I'm excited to see what he can do tonight.
Obviously, and as we were mentioning, these shots just not landing for either team so far tonight. Both teams only making 3 shots. Cal 3 for 13, and the Crimson Hawks shooting 3 for 17. Unusual from these teams is they have a very solid offense on both sides of the ball, just not getting anything to land.
Yeah, it's just the pregame or early game jitters, really, I feel like, for both teams. They're just kind of trying to feel each other out, see what schemes work and what don't, and that's all you can do this early on. You would like to see more shots fall, but nonetheless, you just have to continue to grind and take the shots that are given to you, and eventually you're going to capitalize.
Yeah, and IUP already playing very well, trying to play to the weaknesses of this Vulcan offense, that being Donald Whitehead Jr., the 5'10 point guard. Still doesn't actually do much to stop him, even though he may have suffered some injuries so far this year. Still averaging 86% from the free throw line, 43% from the field, 38 from 3. Such a solid player, and coming off the bench last winter, I don't know how much we really expected of him, but he definitely made his mark on that program last year into their run into the PSAC playoffs. As their PSAC playoff run ended in this building here against the Crimson Hawks. And I can tell definitely this year, I think Coach Sankum wants to flip the script on that and take this fight to Coach Lombardi. So we're going to get the ball back underway. Clark going to get that ball under to Stewart. Not going to be a foul, even though I believe Whitehead got his hands on the offender.
Heck of a defensive play there by Whitehead. I think you heard us talking about how they've been kind of picking on him on defense, and he decided to jump out of his shoes for that block.
I'm never one to shy away from a caster's curse. Prove me wrong. It's KJ Rhodes now going to try and lob that one down to Porterfield, who's going to lose the ball. I think that was Whitehead who got his hands on it, getting that one out of bounds. Like I said, you never really want to caster's curse anybody, so it's even better when they usually break it and they impress. This ball now going to get lost there on the inbounds. Going to get bounced around as well. Coach Sankum not happy about that. Can't tell exactly what he's yelling for. Got some substitutions. I believe we're going to see Waldo back on the court. No, excuse me, that is Furton. And we are going to see number 11, Keith Palak, back on the court. Got a bit of a short taste of him when we were playing up at Slippery Rock here on the CUTV feed, but we haven't seen much of him so far this year. He's been suffering with a bit of an injury. It's Donald Whitehead now going to get this ball over to McClurg, down to Palak. Going to see what he can get in the post. Going to get snuffed by Porterfield. Feeling the pressure, Antoine Arnett takes us to Jam City. Going to get us a field goal here, and that's going to be a 9-9 game here at the KCAC.
Arnett's just so athletic, and I already said it once, but he's so efficient. Something like that, how do you pass up a dunk like that? And that's just something to get the momentum back on your side.
Yeah, he's such a good player in that post, taking up so much of this defensive role as well. I believe that's going to be a foul against number 11. Or no, that's going to be against Antoine Arnett. Don't know what that foul call was. Might have just gotten a little too handsy.
I think it was on the pass into Porterfield there. And, honestly, not a bad foul. He had a little bit of a size advantage, so to be able to stop the play, quick foul. Arnett's not going to play 30 minutes in this game, so if he picks up a foul early, it's not the end of the world.
Quite exactly. As the ball now down with Porterfield on the inside arc, now down to the post, going to take the fadeaway shot. Oh, quick and clean with shades of Nowitzki. Beautiful shot as Whitehead now going to quickly put this one up the court. In the corner now with KJ. Going to take the three. Not going to find it. Bounces off the edge. Impressive play by Arnett to keep it in the game. That's going to be a foul against Radford. Got a little too handsy with KJ.
Yeah, just in the wrong place at the wrong time there. And back to that bucket by Porterfield. I mean, you don't average 17 and 9 a game for nothing. And right there, he showed that he is very skilled on the offensive side of the ball with that fadeaway.
When making sure I had my notes ready for this game, I gave one note for Ethan Porterfield, and that was just very good exclamation point, because he's just so damn good at this basketball game. And Keith Palak gonna get a foul, as I believe that's gonna be Radford who's gonna grab that one. It's gonna be Palak's first foul of the game.
Palak had a lot going on last year. He was one of the center points of this team, and I think IUP remembers him pretty well, because right there he picks up a foul and they let him hear it.
Yeah, and I know Keith Palak, one of the elite trash talkers within all of Division II basketball. Not that that's a bad thing. I mean, he may run his mouth, but he's good at doing it, and he backs up his play as well. We're now going to see Clark here with the ball in the corner, going to take the three, going off the rim. Nice fight for the rebound. I believe that is Furnham, who just loses it. Ball going to go in favor of the Vulcans. This is a call akin to what I saw up in Slippery Rock. Wow.
I'm not really sure. The close ref asked the far ref for his opinion. The far ref gave his opinion, and the close one is questioning it. So, I mean, at least it stayed with the Vulcans, but I thought that was pretty obvious.
Bit of a surprise here. Thought that call was going to go in favor of the Crimson Hawks, as Whitehead now with the ball at the top of the arc. Going to hand that over to KJ, a little sloppily there. KJ with the moves, going to drive in. We're going to see a bit of a Jermaine Hall action there, as we're going to get a fast break here by Clark now. Just going to spin it around. Nice handles on the side of Clark, as he has the ball now within the corner, guarded by Palak.
Almost inviting Clark to shoot that three, and he's already made one, so you got to be careful.
Nice play by Furdham. Just going to hold the ball in for the easy layup for him as well, as the Vulcans going to quickly move this ball back up the court, see if they can get the defense off guard. Not going to find it, though. Jermaine Hall going to look for the fake. Not drawing the foul there when he going for the shot. Loses the ball. Furdham recovers it. Going to put it back up for Clark. Going to pass that one over to Radford. Three-pointer not going to make it. Hall collecting the rebound. Rhodes down on the ground. That's going to be a man advantage for the Balkans. And that's going to be a bit of a handsy play from, I believe that was Sarp Furdham.
Yeah, that's just, I mean, you're allowed to play aggressive on defense. You want to stop the transition, and Jermaine Hall's dangerous in the transition, so I can't knock him for doing it, but definitely an aggressive reach there and put Jermaine Hall on the floor.
And, it's getting kind of tough here from the top of the arena to tell that difference between Furdham and Waldo. It's just the numbers looking very similar, and had a good game so far. A lot of energy, and even though there's been a lot of missed shots, one thing I can say is I've liked the confidence. Absolutely, both teams, you know, they have the confidence that they're going to make these shots, even if they're not dropping, and that's always a good sign.
Yeah, and I mean, both sides have, even with not making shots, they've played a pretty clean game for the most part. 5 turnovers for the Vulcans and 4 turnovers for the Crimson Hawks. Not a crazy high number, not crazy low, but at the same time, I mean, like you said, the shots that they're taking are pretty good. And so far, one thing I want to point out is Garvin Clark with 7 rebounds already early on. Dude averages 6 rebounds a game, so he's already over his average. And, I mean, he is active tonight. I can say that, to say the least.
And a lot of rebounds here tonight. 14 on the side of California, Pennsylvania. 17 on the side of Indiana, Pennsylvania. Matchup of these, what do we say here? The faux states of Pennsylvania. It's been an impressive one so far here tonight. As mentioned, Donald Whitehead Jr. got a little bit of a bullying in the early few minutes here, but he's definitely recovered. Just been able to move the ball around quick enough so that IUP hasn't been able to take advantage of that size difference. And definitely Clark handling the ball so well on the offensive side. And I mean, this IUP defense also just been suffocating, not allowing anything from the post.
Yeah, I mean, Porterfield's the obvious player to watch for the Crimson Hawks, but Garvin Clark is somebody that needs some attention. You know, he's just a great player. Second in the PSAC in assists, 17 a game. He knows how to play basketball, that's for sure.
Arnett now down in the post, over to McClurg. McClurg going to pass out one to Palak, fakes the three-pointer, fools Porterfield. Beautiful play. And one, going to get the point and going to get the trip to the free throw line. Beautiful play by Keith Palak.
And you know Palak's letting him hear it down there on the floor. He's a very emotional player, as we've said earlier, and with the fact that he's missed 11 games this year, that is what you have missed from him in those 11 games. He's an aggressive player. He can shoot it. He can drive it. And I'm excited to see him get back into form. The junior, I mean, he's got next year as well, so we'll see how it plays out.
Not going to make the free throw. The Woodbine, New Jersey native, 63% on the year from the free throw line. That one's going to drop a little bit down now. We're now going to see Clark here at the top of the key, handing it down to Porterfield as they give a bit of a give and go. Now back up to KJ Rhodes. Rhodes over to Stewart on the far side arc. They bring this one around to the top of the key. Hesitates, takes the three. Gonna get stuck on the rim. Unique, interesting play. Can't say I've seen that so far this year. Yeah.
Definitely interesting there. Not really too much to say about that besides, you know, thank God it was IUP and not us, and now we got the ball coming back.
Division II basketball, ladies and gentlemen. Palak with the ball over to Whitehead, who's going to now throw it back down to Palak. Loses the ball here. Great defense by Radford to keep Palak on his feet. Whitehead now with the ball. Getting mismatched there. Ball going between these two as Whitehead looks like he's going to try for that shot. Going to take the mid-range. Rims out. Bit of a fight for the rebound. Lucas is going to end up with the ball. Going to put that back down to Palak. Fakes the three. McClurg back to Keith Palak for the three-pointer off the rim, but McClurg getting the rebound. And the Magic Man with the shot not going to make it. Porterfield for the rebound. Clark's going to take this ball down now.
As great of a finisher as McClurg is, when you're 6'3", going up against somebody that's approaching 6'9" as Porterfield, it's a tough task.
And that's going to be an offensive foul on Ethan Porterfield. Bit of harsh screen there. He has some words for the ref as well. And Keith Palak, underratedly good at taking those fouls as well. He's been taking charges. I mean, in that first game that he came back after that 11-game injury, I mean, his first play was a very hard foul against the Rock as Whitehead going to take the shot. Not found. Clark over to Stewart. Going to go for the fast break. Great block by Bryson Lucas to keep them in this. Is the defensive pressure there. What a beautiful play on the side of the Vulcans. Palak now at the wing over to Whitehead. Whitehead over to Palak. Fakes the three. Back to Whitehead. Calling for the ball again. Palak just makes a bit of a short pass as that's going to get stolen here by Clark. Playing great so far. Radford faking the three. Then going to take it. Not going to make it, but Porterfield gets the rebound. Beautiful putback. Going to grab the rebound again after the miss. Lucas playing some tight defense, not allowing anything. Palak now with the rebound from that miss.
What a great defensive stand there by the Vulcans. I mean, when there's a big man down low like that, it's a scary sight, and to be able to hold them to no points there was a huge accomplishment.
McClurg from his zone, not going to make it. Usually his shot, but that rebound's going to go to Porterfield. And over to Clark with the ball now. Over to Radford. Radford now kicking it out to Stewart. Stewart driving to the net. Believe he's going to grab the foul. Or no, that's going to be a charging foul. Wow.
Yeah, the crowd's not too happy with that whistle by the ref, but nonetheless, at least the Vulcans are getting the ball back. Sometimes you got to get lucky in this sport.
Yeah, and I cannot say I'm not surprised. I'm very surprised. I thought KJ had his feet moving a little too much there, so I thought he was going to end up with the foul call there, but ball now going to be in possession of the Vulcans here.
IUP with 4 turnovers in the last 4 minutes, so you got to think that they're trying to clean it up as best they can.
Arnett with the ball over to Hall. He's going to move this one. Look for KJ. I believe that's going to be a foul. I think that one's going to be against Clark. That one is. And I believe that's going to send Jermaine Hall Jr. to the line.
Can't stress enough how important Keith Palak, Jermaine Hall, Arnett, Bryce Lucas, they're all going to be tonight because Porterfield is just almost like clouds above all these other people. So to be able to use your athleticism, get as high as he can, and just contest as many shots as possible.
Giving shades of a young John Paul Kromka, UPJ legend and legend of this conference, did such a good job within his time. Couldn't even tell you how many times he was the DPOY of the PSACs. Hall going to miss that one. The ball going to be recovered by Clark, who's now taking this over the timeline. Down to Porterfield. Going to hold it. I believe that's going to be a foul on to KJ. Yep, it's going to be against KJ. Looks like he just got a little too handsy there. And that's going to bring us to another media timeout. And that's going to bring us back my good friend, Michael J.J. Robinson. How is it down there, buddy? What were you seeing?
Less seeing, more hearing. Very vocal. Seems like, of course, the rivalry game, the intensity is going completely insane down there. You can hear just all the calls. Of course, California wanting some calls with, of course, a lot of physical contact coming on within this game. Just a lot of yelling at each other and just feeling the intensity. That was mostly what I was seeing and hearing down there. A lot of good things also, seeing some intense shots, some powerful drives, and all sorts of other things like that.
Thank you, JJ, for our pseudo courtside report. We've had a good game here so far. Not many makes here from both teams. 5 for 24 from the side of Cal, 5 for 28 on the side of IUP. Again, not many shots have been landing for either of these teams here, but it's just been good physical basketball and gives you shades of what we saw within the earlier years of the NBA, where it was just mostly physical paint play. It's just been beautiful to watch here, as all these players are just so talented and so skilled at what they do.
It's almost reminiscent of like a Steelers-Ravens rivalry where you play so hard because it's a team that you, I don't want to say dislike, but you know it's going to be an important matchup. And, I mean, they're just playing their butts off on both sides of the floor, but defensively is really where it's showing right now.
Yeah, the ball going to go in the hands of Jordan Lambert here, who I believe is going to come in for Stewart and try and make sure he doesn't foul out of this game still in the first half. 3 minutes 40 seconds as Radford takes the shot. Not going to make that. Set the school record for three-point field goals made against SRU, but just not finding anything here tonight. It's Whitehead now with the ball. Going to get that over to Lucas. Looks like that one was going to get tapped out of his hands. Recovers it, though. Whitehead over to Arnett. Going to hand it back off. Whitehead looking for the foul. Gonna get it, too. It's going to be Jordan Lambert picking that one up.
Crowd not very happy with that call, but I believe it was the right call.
Back to your point on Radford, I mean, setting the school record is definitely a heck of an accomplishment, but one thing that does do is it puts that at the top of the scouting report. And California's done a great job of limiting his chances beyond the three-point line. And he's, like you said, he's held scoreless so far.
And first one's going to be made here by Whitehead. As you mentioned, Radford, that puts a big eye on you after doing something as big as that. And this year alone, he's just been shooting so good from beyond the arc, 46%. Even without the game against Slip, that still would probably put him in top 5 of the conference, up there with along the likes of McClurg and Ryan Mace of Seton Hill. It's Clark with the ball now, over to Porterfield. Holding it now for Stewart. Or excuse me, Lambert. Lambert taking the three, not going to find it. Lucas recovers. Looking for a man, that's going to be Jermaine Hall. Handling the ball around. Over to Whitehead now. On the far side, going to kick that over to Hall. It's a physical ball there by Arnett. It's Lucas with the ball now. Going to hand it over to Hall. Kicks it to Lucas for the three-pointer. Not going to find it. Going to go out of bounds here. The game is now 14-13 with 2 minutes and 44 seconds left here within the first.
Yeah, definitely not Bryson Lucas's forte, as he's shooting about 25% from beyond the arc there.
And a bit of shades of a LeBron James, J.R. Smith type of what were you doing there from Coach Lombardi. Upset at that play, as Cal's going to get the ball back here. Whitehead on the inbounds, just going to kick that back to Lucas. Now to Whitehead, fakes the three-pointer. With Hall now. Looks like he's going to try the fadeaway. No, going to go to Whitehead for 3. Bang! Going to make that one from beyond the arc. Gets that bench up and hyped.
Don is dropping dimes in here tonight.
It's going to be Clark now with the ball at the top of the key. We'll put that one over to Rhodes, back to Clark. Taking the deep three-pointer now. Not going to find it. Ball going to stay here. Believe that's going to be a call against Jermaine Hall Jr. Yeah, that's going to be against Hall. Baltimore Maryland native, that being. He's been averaging 13 points per game so far this year, shooting 48% from the line with 6 rebounds as well. Jermaine has been such an all-around veteran player for this team. Is Radford going to take the moving three? Not going to find it. The shooting woes for Radford continue here tonight as Clark with the ball. Going to move Radford down. Clark going to take the fadeaway shot. Clean, but just doesn't make it. Ball back to Hall. So now going to slow it down here and give it to Whitehead at the top of the key. Whitehead over to McClurg. Cross-court pass to Lucas. Back to Whitehead. Whitehead can't find what he wants. Just going to take it back up on the far side. Coach Snake yelling for the screen. Good screen from Lucas, but loses the ball. It goes to Jermaine Hall Jr., and I believe that's going to be a foul. Can't tell on who yet, but number 14, that's going to go against Bryce Radford as Jermaine Hall going to go back to the line here. And these fouls now starting to play a very key factor in this game. I know that if you've joined us here on CUTV or watched us on the PSAC Digital Network before, and you've heard me talk, I usually talk about how important that these fouls are within this first half and how important it is to limit them, because going into that second half of a close game, if you're losing the foul game, it could be very, very dangerous.
Yeah, that's been one of the downfalls of really both of these programs throughout the start of the year. When they are in foul trouble, they are struggling. So it's tough.
And I believe it's going to be Stewart now going to come back into the game. Hall drops the second one. Makes both the free throws here. Now going to put Cal up 6. 1:30 left here in the first. As Clark crosses the timeline, hands it to KJ Rhodes. Almost called him McClurg. Stewart with the ball now. Down to Rhodes. Has the open shot, not going to take it. Instead, opting for the drive. Drops Hall. Passes to Porterfield. Beautiful offensive sequence from the Crimson Hawks. The point between the two. Beautiful play.
I respect Jermaine Hall trying to draw the charge there, but it's hard to leave and go on the floor when Porterfield's so present in the middle, and that's kind of why he had that open layup.
Can't let him off on his own. Whitehead going to move the defense around. Lucas fakes the shot. Going to go in for the drive. Not going to find it. Fight for the rebound. Clark gets it. Bounces it to Stewart, who's going to take this offense up the court fast. Driving to the net. Out to Porterfield. 4-3. Nothing but net here within the Kovalchik Convocation and Activity Center. That's going to be a timeout here. What a beautiful shot from Ethan Porterfield. 35% three-point shooter. I'm not expecting a 6'8" guy to take that type of shot.
Yeah, it's a part of his game that's, it's grown throughout his career. And, I mean, he's made – that's his 46th three on the year, so it's not something he's shy of doing. He can stretch himself out. I mean, we've seen every asset of his game, mid-range, down low, defensively. And personally, if I'm the Vulcans, you got to attack him a little bit harder. It seems like every time they attack, they're adjusting their bodies a little bit too much and kind of trying to make the shot around him rather than going straight up into him and trying to draw a foul. And that's the only way they're going to find success, driving at a guy of that stature.
Leading the game within the points category so far here tonight is Porterfield. As I mentioned, I wrote one note for him coming into this game, and that was just very good exclamation point. I mean, it's hard to find anybody more elite than him in this conference. The only other guys you could probably put on that list are Josh Omagafo from Gannon or probably the aforementioned KJ McClurg here. So the ball is going to get put back in play over to the Don, who's going to take this one across the timeline slowly but surely. Looks like they're just going to try and drain the clock for as much as they can. Vulcans do have the 1-point lead here, so it looks like they're going to try and keep this, but the KCAC coming alive here. Chanting for the defense. Now some motion. Arnett open in the back. Not going to be able to find the ball, though. And Porterfield going to drop it, though. 10 seconds left on the inbound. That's going to kill the shot clock now. And wow, what a sequence of events there.
Yeah, I mean, they were lucky not to pick up a foul there after that pass hit the backboard and kind of was bouncing out, but Luckily for the Vulcans, Porterfield ended up sliding out of bounds before anything could become of it. So the Vulcans will get the ball, no shot clock, 10 seconds, and a chance to end this half on a high note.
I know we don't have replay here tonight, but Antoine Arnett just got the advantage of the motion there from Donald Whitehead Jr. and found himself open at the bottom of the net, not able to get anything out of it though. Whitehead tried to feed it over. It ends up in a lost sequence. As the referees are discussing now, I think they're trying to discuss if the shot clock's going to turn back on or not. It's Coach Lombardi definitely not happy here. So now they're going to go over to the scores table. See, classic Coach Sankum here. Gotta love it.
I'm going to feed off your point that you said earlier. This is the matchup I'm looking forward to. Sankum versus Lombardi, two very energetic coaches. Neither of them seem to be too happy with anything that ever goes on in a basketball game. So, you know they're going to be chirping the refs all night and trying to figure out the best way to put their team in the best position.
Two veterans of basketball, not just Division II, not just PSAC, but just veterans of the game. Coach Lombardi, 412 wins here at IUP with 113 losses. And Coach Sankum, his career record, 297 to 171. As the shot clock is going to be turned on here. It's going to be 2 seconds for the Vulcans to get something off. Coach Sankum on the court. He is not happy.
No, he's been going back at it for the past at least 30 seconds with the officials.
As again, the KCAC going to come alive, as I believe Coach Sankum now just going to call a timeout and see if he can draw anything up at the last second. Not a sight you usually see here across the PSAC. Gotta love it here in Indiana. This energy from the crowd definitely playing a part.
You know, I'm still just baffled by that call a little bit. I mean, it seemed that Porterfield had enough possession to where the shot clock, you know, would have been kind of reset into their favor, but I guess the way the refs saw it, it was kind of nobody's possession quite yet, and the Vulcans are kind of in a bad situation here with only 2 on the shot clock.
Yeah, the 10-second clock is a lie. Only 2 seconds for the Vulcans to take a shot. Lucas is going to try and take a dribble and throw something up. Not going to get it, but KJ going to get the rebound. Going back up for the shot. Going to make it here. 2 seconds left.
Of course, that's nothing unexpected to be seen from KJ McClurg. Just, of course, inviting contact and somehow, most of the time, if not all the time, seems to come up with those insane-looking shots.
It makes sense, KJ McClurg, the Magic man. Beautiful play there on the side of the Vulcans with a second left now.
Yeah, he's very good at just readjusting his body and being able to put himself in the best position. And he's actually above or amongst the leaders of this team in rebounds per game, seeing that he grabbed that offensive one. He's, for a 6'3" guard, averaging 6 rebounds a game is beyond impressive, and you can tell by how high he gets up off the floor.
Said it before, and I will say it again. Shades of Luka Doncic and Russell Westbrook with the ability to just grab those rebounds along with score those easy buckets as well. Beautiful play from here. IUP, though, calling the timeout with 1.5 seconds left within the first. Gonna look for a miracle shot here to try and I believe tie this game. The football pass down the court, not going to find it. Jermaine Hall, though, is going to get a shot off. Oh, my Lord.
That was close. Oh, my God.
The breath taken out of the crowd at the KCAC as we all thought that was going to go in. It's going to end up with a 21 to 18 point game here. Cal leading now by 3. We're listening to 91.9 FM and WCAL, California, Pennsylvania, Penn West Best Music, and also CUTV. We will join you for the second half here after halftime. Welcome back, everybody. Good evening, good, not really good afternoon, but I guess now good night here as you enter back in to the Kovalchik Convocations and Activity Center. Don't want to look because I'm trying to be good at my job.
You are good at your job, trust me.
Oh, thank you, buddy. You know what? You're not so bad yourself. I saw some, again, some of those pictures, real solid.
Thank you.
And, I'm joined here, forgot to mention this, for the second half, my good friends, Mr. Andrew White and Mr. Michael J.J. Robinson. Welcome back, guys.
How you
Good
doing,
to be
Andrew?
here.
We didn't talk to you. How you doing today?
Pretty good, man. Another day. We're looking a little bit too fine for the crowd here, but at least we're up here in the, above the bleachers, so we don't got any distractions or anything.
Hey, look good, feel good.
Yeah, dress for success. I mean, if you can't look
Exactly.
good, can't feel good, what is there to life? And, I know what's for life. A good basketball game. And I cannot think of a better basketball game or better teams than this. And I can feel it in the air tonight, everybody. It's been such a good game here so far. Both these teams struggling to shoot here as both teams only making 7 shots on the night. Cal going 7 for 29. IUP going 7 for 35. Struggling. But the energy has been electric within the KCAC as we only have a 21-18 scoreline here.
Yeah, definitely a low-scoring game. Some of the stats, there's not really much to walk through, but for Indiana, at least they have Ethan Porterfield. He's got 7 points, 9 rebounds. He's gotten off to a pretty decent start, hitting some shots out there. But other than that, Garvin Clark, 1 for 8 from the floor. Stewart, 2 for 11. Not shooting very well. And then on our end, we got Jermaine Hall, 0 for 5. Bryson Lucas, 0 for 4. McClurg's only 2 for 7 with 4 points. He hasn't even gotten to the free throw line yet, which is something he's known for. So, like you said, both teams only making 7 shots. Cal with 29 attempts and IUP with 35. So, we're just hoping for a little bit more of an exciting and higher scoring half, and I'm sure we'll get it. 21-18 isn't going to happen twice in a row.
It's the time now ticking down second by second. Buzzer going. You know what that means, ladies and gentlemen. Those watching here on YouTube, CUTV Sports 1, and those watching on the beautiful PSAC Digital Sports Network as well. We're back underway here. Both teams taking the court now. I'm going to see a returning lineup for Cal: DJ Slaughter, Jermaine Hall Jr., Zion Collins, KJ McClurg, and Bryson Lucas. You're also going to see Bryce Radford, or Bryson Radford, however you want to call him. You're going to see Jalen Stewart. You're going to see Ethan Porterfield. You're going to see KJ Rhodes, and I believe Garvin Clark.
Garvin Clark with 11 rebounds in that first half for a guard of his stature. That's very impressive, and I'm sure he's going to continue to get after it.
And what a way to start off, as we're going to get a steal by Lucas on the fast break, taking the Euro step. Nice little lay-in as well for him. And heard us talking a little bit of smack about the shooting woes and immediately went off on it.
Yeah, it's good to see. You want to get Bryson Lucas going, even if it's on the offensive end, defensive end, but right there, that's to get his confidence up.
Clark on the drive in, not finding it. Stewart, though, going to take the drive in on Slaughter. Stops, takes the mid-range, not going to find it. It's Collins going to grab the rebound, take it over the timeline. I'm going to call for DJ Slaughter to take the ball. Looking at his options. Lucas moving, takes the ball at the top of the key. Over to Hall now, who's going to move in and cut through the middle for the layup. Nice 2 points by Hall. 2 straight possessions with a score from the Vulcans.
Yeah, they need more of that. Being able to cut into the lane and just drive aggressively. Quit worrying about Porterfield in the middle. If he's there, just go right at him.
Something I preach every time I'm on this headset is take the easy bucket where it's at. And Garvin Clark not going for the easy bucket. Going to stretch himself out for that layup. Zion Collins now with the ball. Going to take it in quickly. Going to stop it now and hand it to Slaughter, who kicks it back over to Lucas. Lucas now down to Hall. Hall losing the ball, it appears like. Lucas is going to grab that and hand it to McClurg, who drives in. Not going to take it. Porterfield going to grab that rebound.
Still just seems like they're a bit passive on their drives. They need to be able to just be as aggressive as they can, and McClurg's got to create some contact.
Woohoo! Send me a letter, Jalen Stewart. Impressive step back for the 3 points here. Leading this now down to a 2-point deficit for these Crimson Hawks. Not something that we see often here between these two teams. As we looked at during halftime, we didn't get to talk about it yet, but 21-game losing streak for the Vulcans against the Crimson Hawks. Have not won a game against them since I was 9 years old. And that's going to be a missed 3 there from Slaughter, with Porterfield getting the rebound. Over to Clark. He's going to try and take the quick drive in. He's going to draw enough contact from Bryson Lucas for the foul. Bryson not happy about that one at all, giving a little bit of a show to the ref. If you're looking for some jobs, I know that She Kills Monsters is going to be coming here to Cal in a little bit, so Bryson's looking for a bit of work. Radford now with the ball. Going to drive in, not finding it though. Porterfield at the top of the key. Fakes the handoff. Now over to Clark. Clark going to take the three-pointer. Going to bounce it off the rim. Lucas tried to let that one just roll out, but it's not going to happen. And now the Vulcans with numbers. KJ McClure fakes the three-pointer. Gets him moving, and you need to make that shot. KJ misses it, though. Lucas with the recovery over to Hall. 2 points at the bottom of the bucket. What a sequence there for these two teams.
Absolutely beautiful bounce pass there by Bryson Lucas off the follow to find Jermaine Hall under the basket wide open.
Nothing but beautiful plays here tonight. Stewart now over to Clark, who's going to drive in and net with Collins on him. Collins with enough contact to make it trouble, though. Clark over to Porterfield for 3. Not going to find it, though. That's going to be rebounded by Hall, who's going to quickly take this ball up over to Collins. Not on the same page, though. Hall's going to somehow get that back, and one. Going to go to the free throw line. What a play by the Baltimore, Maryland native.
It's a heck of a way to make up for what was a lackadaisy pass there to Zion Collins, just kind of coming up with it himself, following, playing aggressive, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. Create some contact, try to finish at the rim, and you will be rewarded.
And 4 for 7 so far in the second half for the Vulcans. Impressive offensive run. Been on to start this as Sarp Furden is going to come into the game here now. As I mentioned to you, Andrew, during this halftime, bit difficult to tell the difference between Furdham and Waldo, both having very similar numbers, and at the top of the arena here, kind of hard to see, is Hall gonna make his and one for the three-point play. Vulcans now leading 30-23, bit unexpected coming out of the gates here in the second quarter. Clark now gonna lob that over to Porterfield. Looked like he was gonna hand it off, but just keeps it himself, going up against Lucas. Looks for that matchup. Hall gonna see that though. Gonna lose his man. Going to be able to recover. Clark with the ball now. Calling for the screen. Not going to take it, though. He's actually going to try and beat his man Collins. And an impressive play. Clark's going to bounce the ball off of Hall's foot. And that's going to be an inbound play now for the Crimson Hawks.
I'm a huge believer in utilizing the kickball violation. I mean, any time that you can stop a pass from getting where it's intended to go, you have no penalty. I mean, when you do a kickball violation, you're not picking up a foul. You're not giving them free throws or anything like that. So just, do the best you can to stop the ball from getting where they're intending it to go. And right there, Jermaine Hall did a great job of just that.
And I believe the officials were adjusting the shot clock here. In the women's game, we had a bit of trouble with that. I mean, ball got tipped off and almost instantly the whistle blew as they were trying to fix the shot clock. But IUP going to kick that one out to KJ Rhodes, who's going to take the last-minute three-pointer. Absolutely drains it, holds up the 1, 2, 3 fingers, putting IUP back in this game. 26-30, California leads as Whitehead holding the ball at the top of the key. Life coming back in to the KCAC as Lucas kicks this over to McClurg. Quick ball movement, though. Gonna mess it around, and the ball goes out of bounds, and that's gonna be IUP ball.
It's one of the benefits of having a big crowd at your back is something as simple as a three-point bucket can really just change the whole momentum of the game, and you could tell they're really into it now.
And chanting the 3 letters of their university, IUP, as Clark with the ball now on the arc. Slowing it down a bit, though. Gonna hand it to Rhodes, who hands it back. Clark gonna go for the check three-pointer. Heat check here tonight. 29-30. Clark with the three-pointer. This is a one-point game, ladies and gentlemen. Better strap your pants up. We're in for a game here. Whitehead now with the ball. Over to Lucas. Now back to Collins. Collins at the free throw line. Going to take the step-back shot. Not going to make it. Lucas anticipated it, but wasn't able to grab it from Clark. He's going to now slow it down here. Going to take another heat check. Ladies and gentlemen, you're kidding me. Shiver my timbers and send me on a ship. What a play. That's going to be the lead for the Crimson Hawks here in the second half.
Back to back to back, just dropping absolute fire through that hoop.
And they've been just inviting Clark to shoot that three all night. And, I mean, he's a great three-point shooter. I don't know why they're intending that, but it's not working in their favor.
And the dangerous lob play from Hall, not finding his way to Lucas. As now Whitehead's going to take a foul here. And what a sequence of events that has happened for both these teams, as I believe that's going to send us to our first media timeout. Coach Sankum Gonna have a few words for his team. Coach Lombardi got to be a little bit ecstatic here over that last little 3 offensive sequences.
It's absolutely insane that that they were able to just knock down 3 straight threes and get off to a 9-0 run.
The momentum has just completely switched sides, especially just from that second half start when California took the ball away from IUP and goes up for an easy layup to set a tone. But obviously IUP wasn't listening. They setting their own tone, hitting 3 straight threes to get them a lead.
And Garvin Clark had a bit of a rough first half. You know, we mentioned it, was killing it in the rebound category, had 11 rebounds coming into the second. But he decided to come out here and put on a little bit of a show now. 12 points for him, 13 rebounds as well with the double-double.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about it earlier. Garvin Clark, 30 points against Edinburgh just over a week ago. You can't really expect him to not want to shoot the ball and score. When you're averaging over 24 points a game over the last 4 games, you got to think that he's going to stay aggressive, and that's all he's done all night. He might not have been able to find his shot a lot in the first half, but he gets 2 threes there. He's good at finding looks, and he's up to 13 boards as well.
And we've been talking about it. The confidence from both these teams have been playing a key factor, and as again we mentioned, may not have made many of those shots in the first half, but the confidence was there. And as soon as you start making those shots, well then, ladies and gentlemen, you got yourself a game, and we have ourselves a game here in Indiana, Pennsylvania. Mark it on your maps, because what an amazing showcase from these 2 teams we've had so far. So I believe that's going to be Sarp Ferdinand, who's going to inbound the ball here. Just going to kick it up to Clark. Now holding it at the top of the key. Kicks it over to Rhodes. Going to bounce it back over to Clark, who now gives it to Porterfield. Hands it off to Stewart. Over to Rhodes. Rhodes over to Clark. Looking like he wants to take that shot, but no, he's going to try and put it to Porterfield. And Lucas, who caught the end of that ball, going to get it out of bounds. And that's going to be an IUP possession. And I believe that's going to keep the shot clock at 3 seconds as well. So IUP going, or no, excuse me, now the referee's going to discuss this, make sure everything's right. No, it's going to reset the shot clock. Okay. Interesting set of events. We saw something similar a little early or a little later in that first half with Porterfield, who had the ball out of bounds. It did not reset the shot clock, but this time around, Lucas going to reset it for the Crimson Hawks. The inbound from Clark now to Porterfield. Clark gets it back on the wing. Why not on that run? Not going to make it though. McClurg with the rebound. He's now going to get it to Hall, who hands it to Whitehead. Donald Whitehead Jr., the Don, holding the ball at the top of the key. On the far side, ball. Going to hand it over to Hall. Kicks it over to McClurg. Fakes him out over Porterfield. Drains it for the easy 2. That's exactly what these Vulcans needed.
I'll tell you what, that's a shout out to KJ McClurg. Every game, or before every game, he always has his teammates come out and contest every single one of his shots, and that was kudos to them for getting him prepared for that right there.
And why not? Garvin Clark already having himself a killer night here tonight. Again, averaging 16 points on the season. The 6-foot forward from Euclid, Ohio. Shout out Euclid, Ohio. Home to former Vulcans quarterback Noah Mitchell as well. It's Whitehead with the ball now. Trying to dribble his way out of it. Hall going to take the 3-point heat check. Not going to find it, but Zion Collins put me on a bit of a nervous path there. Thought he was going to try and put that one back.
Surprised Zion hasn't gotten going yet tonight. He's still held scoreless, and I mean, coming off that season high 26 points against Mercyhurst, it's got to be frustrating on his end.
Yeah, one of the elite scorers within the conference as well. Stewart takes 3, not going to find it, but a beautiful play by Furton, who's going to get that ball back out. Porterfield going to take the shot and going to make that as well.
Sloppy turnover there. Zion kind of just threw it into Dawn, and it was a little too far in front of him. If I'm California, I'm thinking about taking a timeout here. I mean, at least it's less than a minute till media.
And the energy completely shifted there as the KCAC rose to their feet, gave the energy back. 4-point lead here for IUP. And Cal had a nice little lead going in to around the 14-minute mark of the second. Loses it, though. going to be a foul. I believe that one's going to go up against Bryson Lucas.
Yeah, I mean, over the last 3.5 minutes, IUP is on a 13-2 run right now. And, I mean, that'll put you in good position if you could do that any time throughout the game. Back to my point earlier, I said it's going to be a game of runs and who can control them the best, and right now it's been IUP.
Yeah, 13-2 run, but Cal having 4 turnovers within that 4-minute span as well. So there's going to be a bit of a game of tumble there, as there's going to be a foul coming out of it. That one's going to go up against Lucas. That's going to be her 3rd foul of the night. Coach Hakem, again, rightfully upset at that one. Is Keith Palak now going to check in for Lucas, make sure he's out of foul trouble. Again, 12 minutes left here in the second. Unfortunate sight for the Vulcans.
Yeah, there's not much more you can do. I mean, Porterfield's a big guy, and sometimes you just got to be as physical as you can be, and they're going to blow the whistle if they catch you.
What a run it has been for these Crimson Hawks. Again, had a bit of an unfortunate start to the year, but have since rebounded very, very well. Gone on a great winning streak themselves and are now sitting comfortably at 3rd within the PSAC West. Again, the 2 teams that you probably want to look for if you are the Crimson Hawks here within this conference come playoff time are going to be the Gannonites of Gannon. And you're also going to be looking at this California Vulcan team. And I know for the past few years, these 2 teams have been battling it out. This is a rivalry that definitely precedes myself here at this university. And it's one that will most likely go on far after I'm gone. And they have provided a show as, again, KCAC coming to life as McClure going to take the drive, not going to get the contact there. Great call from the referees, not going to get that. As Jermaine Hall's going to go up for the block. Garvin Clark goes up for an electric layup. But it looks like Hall got too much on him now. I believe that one is going up against Jermaine Hall.
I'm not really sure how there was more contact there than there was on the other end with KJ, but nonetheless, you know, got to keep doing what he's doing. I mean, that was a hard drive to the rim. Porterfield just did a good job of kind of maintaining him.
Maybe a bit of a makeup for that first half. Didn't have many foul calls in that first. Most of them going against IUP, as we're now going to have Dolan Waldo come into the game. That's the 6'7" freshman from Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. Clark going to make his second, not making the first though. That's going to put IUP now up to a 5-point lead here. And again, looking at the foul situation, Cal already at 5 on the quarter.
Yeah, they don't want to get in foul trouble early, but I mean, if they're behind, it's not a bad thing to get them in the bonus early just to try to get the ball back.
Whitehead taking that step back, not going to find it though. Bit of a mess around with the ball as Collins is going to get it back and take the mid-range. Going to make that one. Puts this game back down to a 3-point deficit.
Zion finally getting on the board. I'm sure that'll kind of loosen him up a little bit, and hopefully he can get going in this game.
1 for 5 on the night. Why not Garvin Clark? Not going to make it though. KJ going to fight for this ball with Stewart, and that's going to be Cal possession as Stewart kicks the ball out. That's going to be a technical foul against Jalen Stewart. Again, the crowd not happy at all with that one. I don't understand that. I hearken back to what we saw in the Cal Slippery Rock game with the technicals that were handed out there. Those were far more worthy than what I saw there. There must have been something said by Stewart that was warranting that in. What a surprising turn of events here.
Yeah, especially with how much the Vulcans have actually been chirping the refs themselves. I mean, we've seen Keith Palak, Bryson Lucas, KJ McClure, Jermaine Hall, all of them just going at the refs all night. So the first time IUP really lets them hear it, they get thrown a technical.
And I was told by our producer that he pushed the ref. Guess I just didn't see enough of contact there as KJ McClure gonna take this technical free throw. I mean, what an electric player. I know we've been saying it all night long. His career high of 35 points came against Wheeling December 13th. He's had 10 games this year with 20-plus points. He's the second in minutes per game. He leads the PSAC in the scoring average department with a very solid 82% from the free throw line.
Yeah, I mean, there's too much to be said about KJ's game and how big of a jump he's taken from last year. To be able to average 23 points a game and shoot 56% as a guard. I mean, he's 120 coming into the game, 122 for 217. To take that many shots and still be at 56% is a heck of a feat. Not to mention he's 46% from three. Like you said, 82% from the line. I mean, KJ McClurg is a big reason why this team is sitting with the record that they have, and I think he's going to be a big part of the second half.
Yeah, and it's such a jump here from what we saw last year. Last year, you saw that freshman year of his. Solid, but nothing really special. It's very good, but just didn't, have that X factor. But now into this year, he's definitely earned himself the moniker of the Magic Man. We have been calling him because of his electric play under the net. And now the sophomore at a University High in Morgantown, West Virginia, D1 transfer, has done such a good job in pushing this team to the next level. And I think a big part of that, too, has to come with the re-additions of Zion Collins and Bryson Lucas.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it earlier. Last year's team was a totally different team than this year's. KJ didn't really have to step into that role last year. They were still trying to find themselves and, grasp their identity. And now they have an identity. They have a real team, and he's been a huge part of it leading the way.
As the IUP band here tonight gives us a good, or how do we say it? Good rendition of Born to Be Wild, as we're going to see a beautiful passing play there down to KJ under the net for the 2 points. That's going to put Cal in the lead now. What a nice back and forth game we've now had here in the second half.
I was just about to say, don't look too soon, but Cal sneaking back in front.
So we're going to get a bit of contact at the free throw line.
To be honest, I'm kind of a fan of that. Porterfield is also an emotional player, and I think Keith Palak, not being in foul trouble yet or anything like that, I think he should be pushing Porterfield to his limits and try to get in his head a little bit.
Marvin Clark with 15 points on the night here so far. Bit of a struggle in that first half, really only getting it done in the rebound department, but turning it up here in the second in the points categories. He's going to go up for the layup. Collins not able to get his hands on it. And already making me a fool of myself. 17 points on that night as now Whitehead's going to look for the drive, not finding it, kicking it around. Not going to find it, though. Collins going to go for the three-pointer. Not going to make it. Gets back out. Keith Palak looked for the moving three at first, but he's going to kick it down to Hall to Whitehead for three. Back in the lead and in the driving seat of this game are the Vulcans, 41-39 here in this second half. One of the lowest scoring games of the year for this Vulcan squad so far, but nonetheless, close one.
Donald Whitehead brings a different dynamic to this team, and anytime he can get hot from beyond the arc, it's even a better aspect.
And Zion got bit by that screen and give Clark a little too much room. Not able to make the mid-range shot, though. It's now Hall with the ball. Going to give it back to KJ from the three-point line. Getting a bit held up there by Waldo. As Palak now with the ball, going to go to the paint. Going to find the bucket over Porterfield. Again, this is something that you needed, is to beat Ethan Porterfield in the paint. I know that's such a tough task to demand from any player, but good on Keith Palak to get the bucket.
He's chirping him too. That's what I'm saying. He needs to get in his head and be able to, stand toe-to-toe with him, because he's about the only player on this court that can see him at eye level.
Yeah, but on the other hand, that could backfire. You really don't want to make Ethan Porterfield angry, and that's one of his reasons why that signature fadeaway shot not going to land here for Porterfield. Almost called it Peterfield. Whitehead Jr. with the ball here at the logo. KCAC coming alive again in support of their Crimson Hawks. Whitehead now with the drive, going to go in. The block attempt going to get too much contact, and that's going to send Donald Whitehead to the line. I believe that one's going to be against Furden, excuse me. It's the 6'3" freshman out of Ankara in Turkey. It's going to give him 2 shots tonight.
This will give California a chance to have their biggest lead of the night if he can make both of these free throws.
It's been a very different game from what we saw between these women's team here, where Crimson Hawks were mostly in the driver's seat of that women's game. Cal might have given them a scare too, but not much really worrying. On the other side, this has just been a back-and-forth affair between these two teams, as Whitehead going to make the second one, and that is now a 6-point lead for this Vulcan team. Again, just this back-and-forth affair, striking again. Clark with the ball over to Porterfield, gonna take the 3. He's gonna make it. Can't be too shocked. One of the best players in the PSAC making that shot. And surprisingly, for a 6'8 player who's mostly more of a paint type of center archetype, going to make a three-point shot with a 35% as well. As a McClurg, clean little just floating shot into the net. Nice little response from the Porterfield 3.
Yeah, that was a heck of a shot by McClurg to be able to adjust his body. And I almost think he jumped ready to pass it, but then he kind of decided to shoot it and luckily found the bottom of the net.
And McClurg, 10 points on the night. Bit of a struggle with the rebound. And I don't know if that one's going to go against Stewart. That one's going to go against Waldo. I believe that one's going to go against Stewart. Or no, that's going to go against Garvin Clark. That's going to be his third. 17 points on the night for Clark. Bit of a worry now if you're Coach Lombardi. So we have 8 minutes and 24 seconds left here in Indiana, Pennsylvania, home of these Crimson Hawks, as Whitehead now going to take it over their beautiful logo stretched over the half-court line. Palak now giving it to Collins in the corner.
If I'm Collins, I'm driving on Clark here, trying to pick up his fourth.
Not going to do it. Seems like there was a bit of contact somewhere. I believe that one is going to go against Bryce Radford. And not really in the vicinity of play. Believe that one's going to be his fourth. You're going to see KJ Rhodes now come into the game. Again, near the end of that first half, I mentioned it. These fouls are going to come into huge play here near the middle and ending half of the second, because then you have to worry about keeping your players in the game and worry about them taking these fouls.
Yeah, Radford with 4 staying in the game now, and he's still held scoreless after that record-setting night the other day.
And sometimes the tables just don't turn the way you want them to, as Collins going to take a turnaround jumper, not going to find it. I think KJ got enough contact. Great play by KJ. Positions himself in such a beautiful way to where he's able to draw the contact out. That's going to be a foul. And that's going to send us to our media timeout here tonight. Wow, what a sequence.
Yeah, from here on out, any fouls will send the opposing team to the free throw line. So it's going to be interesting to see how physical both teams are. I mean, in a rivalry game like this, there's no way to limit your physicality. There's no way to, stop these guys from playing as hard as they can. And it's just going to be really the whistle of the ref that kind of, decides. I mean, I'm not going to say it decides the outcome, because that's going to be the players, but kind of just decides what way this game swings into.
A bit of a preview of our playoffs here, as this is most likely going to end up being one of our matchups here. Either going to be the Crimson Hawks versus Cal. We're going to see one of the latter, Gannon or Slippery Rock, as Slip on an impressive run themselves. I believe around 2 or 3 weeks ago, they were 6th or 7th within the West, but now have jumped up to 4th. Seton Hill at a 10-7 record, but 5-6 in conference, has put them down to 5th. In the West, a bit of a open bottom half of the West. I know if you look at the top half, it's pretty clear you're going to get a Gannon, California, IUP trio going to the playoffs. But then those other 3 slots, it's tough. Slip has had a good run, but had a bit of a struggle in the first half. Seton on the opposite, started well, bit of a struggle so far in these later games. And then in that last slot, does it go to Hearst or does it go to Edinburgh, who themselves have had a solid few games here to struggle against in-conference opponents?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the top of the conference is really congested, obviously, with Gannon, Cal, and IUP, but the middle of the conference is up for anybody's taken. And honestly, I think it'll be exciting. And I also say don't sleep on Pitt Johnstown. They might not be the team that you expect them to be at 3-9 in the conference, but a rebuild year, they're really starting to come together. And like I said, and like you said, it's really anybody's conference right there in the middle.
Yeah, and I mean, a UPJ team just struggling after losing some important key seniors. And I mean, who else can you bring in to replace John Paul Kromka? As I mentioned earlier there, probably one of the best players that this Division II Athletic Conference has ever seen and will ever seen. One of the greatest defensive players in basketball I have ever laid my eyes on, as KJ McClurg gonna make the 2. Cal now leads 49-42 with 7 minutes and 50 seconds left here. Going to be Clark with the ball. Collins on him. Clark going to give it to Stewart. 4 fouls on the night. Or 3, excuse me. Going to get a whistle.
That one's going to be against Palik. I believe that's going to be his third. So there are now 2 Vulcans on the court with 3 fouls. It's going to be Bryson Lucas and Keith Palik now.
Like I said, any foul sends the opposing team to the line, and you don't want to give away free points, especially to a good free throw shooting team. So got to hope you get lucky and Porterfield misses one here.
That's a tough question to ask here, as Porterfield has shot 67% from the line this year. 118 games for this IUP Crimson Hawk team. Played with some legendary players in his run here.
Yeah, like I said, it feels like he's been here a freaking decade. I mean, this guy has just been dominating the PSAC West for a long time now.
I mean, that COVID year messed it up for so many players and also gave some of these guys second chances and opportunities to play longer than they probably thought they would, as Collins gets stuck but is finding an open Donald Whitehead, not able to find it, but Keith Palik gonna get the rebound, throws the ball up, but got enough contact from the double team to draw the foul.
Yeah, it's a big rebound there by Keith, and that's what he's out there to do. The 6'8 junior, I mean, like I said earlier, he's the only one that can look Ethan Porterfield directly in his eyes, and he's going to have to play like he's that big tonight.
It's going to be Rhodes picking up that foul. That's his third tonight. He's found the number 3 and 2 a lot. 3 points on the game so far. 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, and 3 fouls.
63% free throw shooter. Small sample size, though, coming into the game, only 10 for 16. At least he capitalizes on one of the 2 there.
6-point lead here for the Vulcans with 7 minutes and 20 seconds left now. With Clark on the wing, impressive ball handling moves. Thought he was going to shake Whitehead. Looks like Palik's going to come over for the double team. Loses Porterfield in the process, who's open for 3 but does not make it. The kick out by Stewart. Not going to find it from Lambert, though, as McClurg finds the rebound. Sequence from the Crimson Hawks does not go their way, as Collins now thought that was going to be a travel, but I believe that's going to be a call against the Crimson Hawks.
Yeah, Lambert was getting a little bit too handsy there with Palik, and now, once again, you know, you don't want to give the other team free points, and Palik's at the free throw line.
As the score table, bit of a struggle here tonight as well. I know I messed up a few of these names, but it's nice to know I'm not alone here, as was Lambert, who's picking up the foul. And one going up against Collins. It's going to be Furton coming into the game. It's going to be for Lambert, as Lambert now goes out, sit on the bench. Palik, the bounce in for the second as well. It's an 8-point lead here now with 7 minutes left. This Crimson Hawks team needs a bit of a confidence boost and a bit of a run here if they want to keep themselves in this game.
Matchup to watch is Palik versus Porterfield down low right now. And there it is.
I mean, can't call it any better than that. And I mean, can't expect anything else here. 2 star players in their own right. Palik still recovering from that injury, but still has the potential for greatness. And Porterfield, who's put this team in the headlines for the years he has been here. Whitehead now with the ball over to Lucas. Lucas sizing things up. Going to hand it off to Collins. As Collins going to give it back down to Palik for 3. Not going to find it, though. Clark going to find the ball. Palik tried to pick him up. Loses him, though. Clark going to go in. And one. Going to draw the foul from Bryson Lucas. An important potential 3-point play here. And what a sequence of events from the Crimson Hawks.
As our good buddy Braxton would say, you know, you got to make it worth it when you foul. And right there, didn't make it worth it. Clark was able to finish through the contact. And I said it earlier and I'll say it again, something as simple as a 3-point bucket, a 3-point play, you know, a steal and a turnover, whatever it may be. When you have a crowd of this size, it can completely change the momentum. And, I mean, Cal's lead goes from 8 to potentially 3 here in a matter of 60 seconds.
And as you mentioned, that lead now down to 3, and what a back-and-forth contest we have witnessed here tonight in the Kovalchuk Convocation and Activity Center here in Indiana, Pennsylvania. And this is Nate Kurtz here tonight. Zion Collins going to bounce this off the foot of the defender, going to grab a kickball violation. Can't tell if another foul was handed out or if that was just them clarifying who did it. I believe that was just a clarification. Whitehead going to inbound the ball under the net.
IUP 30 3-point shot attempts tonight and hitting 7 of them, and that's kind of been where the advantage has been on their end of the floor.
Great pass by Whitehead to find Palak over Porterfield. Again, gets that matchup, and you see the energy, ice in his veins. Beautiful play by Palak to keep them in this game here tonight.
Absolutely love that matchup of Palak and Porterfield right now. It's nice to see Palak getting back in his rhythm, and I mean, he needs to stay in this game because him and Porterfield going at it is really a show to watch.
I'm surprised. I thought Hall did have his feet set in time to grab the charge. It looks like he's just going to end up picking up a foul here, as that's going to send Clark back to the line. Chance to make it 21 here tonight. Such an impressive player here. His career high 30 points against Edinburgh. December 1st, 20. He's averaged 24 points per game over his last 4 as well. Such an impressive player in his own right. And you can tell at the end of that foul call, KJ McClurg was just a little bit upset and a little bit emotional. This is a close rivalry game. Clark's going to make it. 4-point lead here for the Vulcans.
Yeah, I think his feet were just on that restricted area line, and that's the only reason he didn't get that charge call. But nonetheless, they got to protect this lead.
Yeah, and the Crimson Hawks going to pick the ball up at half court now. And the Vulcans all year have been able to break this type of defense. And again, already Whitehead taking that 3, but he got contact, not called though. And apparently no call, as you're going to see Porterfield go up and help Jermaine Hall Jr. Bit of sportsmanship there. This is a rivalry game, but I think we can all admit we love to see those types of plays.
Buddy JJ almost taken out on the play down there as Jermaine kind of dove towards his area as he's trying to capture some pictures for us.
I can't say that's a bad thing. Actually, it is a bad thing. I live with the guy, so I'd have to hear him whining and crying over getting ran over by Jermaine Hall Jr. That's Furton now with the ball. Jermaine Hall Jr., though, going to steal that ball away. At half court, loses it, though, and that's going to be a foul. I believe that one, again, is going to be Furton, who picks that one up. And I believe that is his game. Yeah, that is the end of Sar Furton's game.
That's not ideal. When you pick up 5 fouls in 18 minutes and you only put up 1 shot, I mean, nothing against the guy, but that's not the kind of night he was hoping for.
Talking with Coach Lombardi, I'm sure he is frustrated himself. As Jermaine Hall goes to the line. You know, a foreign freshman, far from home, first year playing college ball. It's definitely tough. As Jermaine Hall is going to make the first, make this a 5-point game here now. He's just going to take a seat, take a little bit of rest, and hope that this Crimson Hawks team can just put enough effort in here to make this a real game. Another thing to look out for is Radford on the court now with 4 fouls as well. Hasn't contributed much this game, far opposed to what he had against Slip, but has still been a key part of this team. Clark now given too much space from the 3-point line. Have to take that shot even if you miss it. Rebound, though, not found by the Crimson Hawks. As Palak resets and gives the ball to Whitehead, who's crossing the logo now, holding the ball. Over to Collins. The chance for defense coming out of the KCAC now. Quick turnaround pass from Palak to Jermaine Hall Jr. Do not draw it up any better than that. Coach Sakem doesn't have a smile on his face because, as the late Kobe Bryant said, job's not finished. And the job is not finished for these Vulcans as Stewart breaks his man Whitehead. Beautiful turnaround shot. What a way to put back 2 points on the board here. This Cal offense now just setting themselves into place.
Great move there. I mean, it's all I can really say about that. You keep your pivot foot and you can fake anybody out.
Whitehead with the ball, taking the mid-range jumper from the free throw line. Not going to find it. Think that foul is going to go underneath against Jermaine Hall Jr.
That's free throws, man. It's going to hurt. I mean, it takes us to the media timeout, but they'll have 2 free throws coming back.
And a 5-point lead for these California Vulcans could potentially end up in a 3-point lead if these free throws go in favor. we're going to welcome back our good friend JJ Michael here. Again, we had a bit of a pseudo courtside report last half after you were done shooting pictures. I apologize if you're still a little out of breath, but how was it down on the court side? How were the players reacting to this tight game?
It was very good. I almost had a chance to interview Jermaine Hall as he was laying down on the floor next to me when I thought I was going to die. So besides that, no information from Jermaine, of course, but definitely a hard-fought battle. Luckily, California is able to keep a slim lead over the IUP Hawks, but everything just from the officials, even now with Danny Sanctum, just with the officials going back and forth.
Coach Sankum needs to calm down. The fans here want him thrown out. This is about typical Danny Sankum behavior. Not happy. Wants the game called fairly, not only for his Vulcans, but just in general. I'm not surprised that we almost got a second Jermaine Hall interview. That first one by our own Andrew White here on the call on the caltimes.org website. Again, go read that one. Gives beautiful insight to this Vulcans team. I believe we're going to see a second one coming up here as well on this game. And I know, JJ, definitely, you probably didn't want to get that up close and personal with him.
No, we're okay. Camera survived, I survived, that's all that matters. Jermaine survived.
As a fellow photographer, I can say the camera is more important than the person.
Oh, 100%.
It is, I'm not paying $600 for a new camera.
Especially when that lens wasn't mine.
Yeah, and shout out to Brock Regner, photographer for the pen here at IUP. Good friend of mine. Go back to our high school days, specifically in our French class. It's how I met the egghead himself. But enough about my personal life.
Did you say French class?
Yeah, I met him in French class. I took French class my freshman year of high school. Ended that 3 years of German class. No, that was mostly just Duolingo assignments. But hey, I now sprechen Sie Deutsch, which is a good little thing to put on my resume. But enough about me. More about KJ Rhodes, who's now going to attempt the free throw here. Misses the first one. As Andrew, you said earlier, these fouls you need to, if you're going to make them, they need to be important because these are attempted points from the Crimson Hawks now.
Yeah, both sides. I mean, you'll get 2 free throws now that we're in the double bonus, so it's important to be able to capitalize on them. And right there, Lucky Lee for the Vulcans, he doesn't capitalize on either.
And Rhodes misses 2 very important free throws. Ladies and gentlemen, you could be looking at history here tonight. We still have 3 minutes here, but that's going to be, I believe, a backcourt violation.
A little 10-second violation there as they couldn't get it across the floor in time. I mean, that's why you got to get moving off the rebound.
Thank you for the correction. I'm sorry. I'm just like, I'm stunned. I have never seen that. I don't think I've ever seen that. In my years of watching basketball from childhood to adulthood, I don't think I've ever seen a 10-second violation ever called. As the fans come to life here, they know how important this game is. Not only a rivalry game, but a 21-game win streak against these Vulcans. They need to keep up. Clark going up against the big Keith Palak, not able to find the matchup. Ball getting lost, though. Whitehead finding it. Vulcans on the fast break now. Not going to find anything with it, though, as Whitehead's just going to dribble it back up to the logo and play it safe.
This is a big possession for the Vulcans. If they're able to extend their lead to whether it be 7 or 8, I mean, that would be huge, especially with less than 3 minutes to play.
2:55 on the clock. Ticks down more and more. Keith Palak with the ball. Fakes the three-pointer. Hands it off to McClurg. McClurg throwing up the shot in hopes of the foul call. Not finding it. Clark now with the ball. Again, going to slow it down for this Crimson Hawk offense, who struggled in this first half, but found fire near the middle of the second. Radford, beautiful move with the layup, makes this a 3-point game for the Hawks.
That's only Radford's 4th 2-point shot of the season. So not something you see often, but a great finish there.
You just made me check my sheet here, Ed. You are absolutely correct. That is amazing. I don't think I've ever seen that, as Collins now with the ball at the key. He gives it to Palak, who hands it to Whitehead. Whitehead now going to kick it out to McClurg, who fakes the shot, going to draw the foul from Rhodes. That is going to be his 4th now, and more importantly, with 2 minutes and 6 seconds, that is going to be 2 shots for KJ McClurg. And as I mentioned here earlier tonight, he set the record for the university athletics program and this men's basketball program. I believe it was 27 or 28 free throws attempted against Slippery Rock. as he makes the first one.
It's like a James Harden ordeal back in maybe 2017, 2018, just picking up all the free throws. I mean, this dude shot over 150 coming into the game, leading all of the PSAC, and he just does a great job converting on them as well.
And I can't think of another athlete within this university that's such a quiet and hard-working player as KJ McClurg. Transfers from Division I New Hampshire down here to this Vulcan program as a block by Donald Whitehead Jr. The 5'10 sophomore is going to grab a block as he gets pats from his teammates. I am amazed. The Don puts the cigar in his mouth, lights some smoke under the fire here of this Crimson Hawk team.
I don't know if I'm more surprised by that block or that how high your voice just got.
I didn't think I was capable of that anymore. I didn't think I was capable.
I haven't heard that, and I live with you. That is insane.
But
that's
again,
Don's second block of the night too as well. So I mean, he's been all over the place on defense.
1 minute and 50 seconds here. I need to calm myself down. Did not expect the Donald Whitehead Jr. electric block to change the tides of things as Zion Collins, who's been quiet all night long, has struggled these past few games, makes his presence known. The senior, 1,000-point scorer for this program, 2 key free throws here. Has not won a game in his entire career with the Vulcans as he gets an important block as well. This is now a 61-54 game here. 1 minute and 30 seconds left. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been an electric matchup all night long. Whitehead now just going to try and play for time or play for a foul from Clark.
They took away the closely guarded rule here in NCAA, so now it's just kind of wasting as much time as you can, but still getting an efficient shot.
And Collins now with the turnaround jumper, not going to find it, but the Vulcans almost found the rebound, but Hall touched it but was out of bounds, so that's going to be a Crimson Hawk possession. But more importantly, the Vulcans killed enough of the clock to make this a 1 minute and 13-second game.
I can't believe Coach Lombardi's not taking a timeout here. Just over a minute left, you're down 7. I mean, momentum's not really in anybody's favor, but I think it's a good idea to talk to your team here.
And Radford, quiet all night, makes the 3-point that this team desperately needed. This is a 4-point game, 50 seconds left here. If you're the Crimson Hawks, you have to think about fouling. This is a game of numbers, ladies and gentlemen. Back and forth all night long. Donald Whitehead at the logo. Again, draws the foul from Radford. That's going to be his 5th.
Get him out. He's out. 5 fouls for the clutch shooter after a big basket, and not something you want to see on his end, but it's a good sign for the Vulcans as they can kind of breathe a sigh of relief that the great shooter is going to be on the bench the rest of this game.
And a historic program. The Crimson Hawks, a former nationally ranked team that has gone to the NCAA semifinals, and a team that over the past few years under Coach Lombardi have done nothing but WIN and put those categories in the history books. But against a rivalry team here, we have seen an electric matchup, and I am stunned. I had high expectations coming into this game, but I don't think I expected such a high-octane game between these two.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun. I can say that for sure, and it's going to be a wild finish this last 45 seconds. It's not over until it's over.
Whitehead makes the first. This is a 5-point game. Whitehead has the chance to make it a 6-point game, put the dagger in the heart of the Hawks, and he does it. Donald Whitehead Jr. makes this a 6-point game here tonight, and that is going to be a timeout called here on the court by Coach Sankum, surprisingly. Surprised that was not called by Coach Lombardi.
I think Sankum just wants to kind of calm his team down, let them know what their defensive scheme is, and realize that they can't allow any threes. Any threes makes this a one-possession game again, and, you know, they're able to play aggressive, just not too aggressive because of the fact that both teams are in the double bonus, and you don't want to give any free points, especially when the clock's not moving. So no fouls, no threes. If anything, allow something in the paint and just be ready to shoot some free throws.
An IUP Crimson Hawks faithful starting to shuffle out of the arena, probably want to beat the traffic rush. And guys, I cannot say I expected this tonight. I mean,
as we looked at the half, I knew that coming into this game, I didn't have it written down. I knew we were on a losing streak to this Crimson Hawks squad, a very large one that was dating back far before we've been here. But I didn't realize it was that long, a 21-game losing streak dating back to 2013 and 14. I know I could say this for myself and Mr. Michael Robinson here on the broadcast, both 9 years old. The last time this Vulcan squad got a win here against the Crimson Hawks team.
From 9 to 19, be amazing to see that.
You know what? I think it's us. I think we're the reason. I'm not gonna say I take full credit because I can't take full credit.
No, I won't.
you can take full credit. You're normally not on this broadcast. It's normally me and Mr. John Say, but he's been busy with his play. And 44 seconds here. This IUP Crimson Hawks team needs a 3-point, and you don't have Bryce Radford to take it. That's the guy you normally would want to take it. But why not Ethan Porterfield? Misses it, though. The rebound going out to Rhodes. Finds it. Clark with the three-pointer. Misses again. 27 seconds. Hall getting the pass over to Collins. This game over and done. Send us home. Zion Collins. Country Roads take me home. Back to California, Pennsylvania. The Vulcans 65-57 with 29 seconds left, or 20.9 seconds left here in the second quarter.
This has been a spectacular game. Final 20 seconds coming. IUP needing this.
Clark with the three-pointer. Not going to make it. That was definitely a shot you needed. Whitehead loses the ball. That's going to be out of bounds. 10 seconds left. Now, you can never say never, but at the same time,
slim to none.
Slim to none. And I cannot give more praise to Coach Daniel Tiberius Sankum. What an impressive program he has built here over these few years. Coming from Wheeling, West Virginia, has created an amazing team. So close, so hardworking, and just great people. And a 21-game losing streak dating back to 2014, January. And the California Vulcans take this game 65-57. What an amazing display here from these two teams in the Kovalchik Convocation and Activity Center tonight. Guys, do we have any final thoughts?
Just, this was an amazing game, especially being able, of course, with photography, to see it up close. Sometimes a little too personal, but it was an amazing game, just especially for Cal history within the past 10 years.
I don't think you can give enough praise to Keith Palak in this game. Him being able to size up with Porterfield all game really set the tone for this Cal team. And all I got to say is tune in on Wednesday. Home game at the Convocation Center against Edinburgh. Start times of 5:30 and 7:30.
And a historic record here for this Crimson Hawks team, taken down now by these Vulcans. This has been Nate Kurtz here tonight alongside Andrew White and J.J. Michael Robinson. Ladies and gentlemen, have yourselves a night. This has been Nathan Kurtz signing off.